First night, fish on the bank, great start for you.
Yep, brilliant. We obviously, as you know, we were sort of being asked from the off, so we found our spots after about 3-4 hours.
Yeah, fun.
Not as many as we were hoping for. It's not, it's quite very local. But yeah, so it's given us a lot of confidence having one.
There's a few fish up here, isn't there?
Yeah, it seems like it. I think the guys in 23 have had one of they in 20. It's very weedy out there, something we wasn't sort of predicting, was we?
Yeah.
You know, there's muddy bits, nothing too spectacular, but as long as there's a few fish about, then I think there should be a few out of this area, right?
Well, hopefully
more of that.
Yeah, a few bigger ones as well.
Quality, well, Taj, on the board this early in the game.
Yeah.
What's your secret?
Don't tell them, Taj.
Don't tell them, Taj.
Don't tell them, very vague.
Listen to these two.
The single sweet corn rod, you can tell them about that one. Single grain.
Popped up sweet corn.
Yeah, popped up sweet corn.
5 yards out.
5 yards out.
Yeah, that's it, okay.
Spotted with maggots.
Yeah, that's the only secret given.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Didn't even use a clip, did we, for the maggots?
No.
So 24 hours in and the scores look like this. Top of the tree is Thomas Muller and Stephen Freeman with that one fish of 23.1 kilos. They're being chased though. 5 teams with good fish to report and another 4 days of competition left. Well, I'm out on the water now and I'm going to take you for a little run around Madine to show you exactly what the lake is like and what the anglers are up against. Now, for a start, the lake is 1,200 hectares in size, which is a little over 2,500 acres, and it's situated in the Meuse region of France, around about the Metz Nancy area. It's a reservoir, so it's man-made. It was built in 1960s. But it's not an irrigation or a drinking reservoir, it's actually a sporting reservoir and just for water storage. So unlike some of the other big ones like the Orient and Lac de Madine, the water level doesn't really fluctuate too much. There isn't that much of a draw off. It's really, really interesting when you look at it from the air. There's one big horseshoe area which goes all the way across the 2 dam walls, and at the other end there's loads of little finger bays, trees and forests all the way around, and there's lots and lots of nature. In fact, yesterday I actually saw an osprey come down and take a fish off the surface, so it's a magnificent place to be. Now, the fishing is very different depending on where you are. Being shallow, probably the maximum depth down by the dam is about 20 feet, but it is about 2 to 3 meters across the majority of the area, and in the bays it's a little bit shallower still. There's a lot of weed in it. The base underneath is clay, so the anglers will be donking around looking for slightly harder patches where they can present their baits. There's a big island that runs up the middle of the lake as well. That takes quite a few people. 2 of the long sides are occasionally productive, but it's the far ends generally that they want to get into that woods area, because at the top of the woods area there's a bay that's normally a natural nature reserve, and at this time of year that's where the fish tend to migrate to. The bird hide area, that has a good pedigree too. That produces quite a few fish, and we've seen over the last few years lots of fish come from there, and the bay just by the side of that produces big ones now and again too. And then of course we've got the down wall area. There will be 1 or 2 fish around there that are resident and patrol up and down that area, but you need a bit of wind, a bit of life and a bit of something going on to get this open water fishing. For me, I think with the way the weather's been recently, it's going to be the bays, the shallower areas and those quiet channels. That's where the big fish are going to be coming from. I just don't think there's enough ignition in the weather to make the open water fish. The sun is starting to set out here at Carp Classic number 20. What a brilliant day it's been. We've actually had quite a bit of action through the course of the day, sometimes from catfish, others from small carp, but the big ones are now starting to feed just like they did last night. I'm in peg 15, which, as you can see, it's one of the bays yet again. The wind is blowing across now. We're getting some cloud cover. The temperature is dropping and it feels really, really carpy. There will be fish caught tonight without any shadow of a doubt. And we've just had an 18.6 kilo here for the Sturks family. And my word, what a fish it was. Just look at this common, absolutely cracking. And that rockets them right to the top of the leaderboard in this section. But we're just hearing some cheers. About 5 minutes ago, we got some cheers from the far bank over there. Now that is the area known as the dark side, and we've just heard that a 24 kilo fish has been caught over there. Now that is between 51 and 52 pound. We don't know exactly what the weight is yet, but that will be the biggest fish, and it will be the second 50 that's been caught here in a little over 24 hours. There's another big fish being caught off the island. That's a 20 kilo plus fish, and one or two small ones all over the place as well. So it's really getting exciting. And just remember guys, the way this competition works is it's a big 3 event. Only 3 fish count. Catch 10 fish if you want. Your biggest 3 are the ones that go on the leaderboard. So all those guys that fish for 7 and 8 kilo fish, that's not really going to matter. You need to sit tight, you need to show that you can catch big fish, and anything 18.5, 19 kilo plus, that will make a difference to the leaderboard. We think that you're going to need 63 kilos to 67 kilos is my opinion. Talking to some of the other guys, they think the fish have grown since last year, and it might even be a 70 kilo year. So 23, 23, 24 kilo, that would get you up there. So anybody that's getting 18.5 plus, they're going to be in the race, but really you need 20 kilo. Karel Nickel, Jakob Kumster and Jan Dadak. Absolutely fantastic fish that. That's a really, really nice looking mirror carp. Virtually no scales on it at all. And this will rocket the boys right to the very top of the table. Chatted to them a minute ago, and they said actually an early lead isn't necessarily a good lead, but my view is that if you're at the top, everybody's got to try and pass you. So always a nice place to be. Guys, what are you thinking at the moment?
It looks good actually. You know, we didn't know after the draw if the pack's gonna be good or not, but the weather is alright and the fish are in front of us. We will just have to find out how many and how big.
A lot of fish in the bays at the moment. They seem to be more popular with fish in the bays rather than out in the main open water.
It looks like that now, and the weather plays in our favour, so let's see. Let's hope for the best.
Peg 88 now, and this is a fantastic common of 18.1 kilo. That's around about 40 pound for the German pairing of Stefan Oberhauser and Max Brandmeier. First carp of the competition for them that will go onto the scoreboard, and this is a traditional and typical Madine fish. Very, very big in the shoulder, big high back, slung slightly towards the rear end, and a lot of the older fish here at Madine have these very small fins, quite a small tail. Some of them have small pectoral fins, and it's typical of a heavy weeded fish. One of the old originals, beautiful creature, and the guys will be very happy with that.
Yesterday we lost one, and this night,
and that's my
same time,
at my first Madine carp. I'm so happy.
yes.
Well, it's first thing in the morning now, and we're just having reports of a really big fish that's been caught up at the far end of the lake. Now we have to get round it by road, and just to give you some sort of perspective about how big this lake is, it's 46 kilometres all the way around it, and to get from one end to the other end by car takes between 15 and 20 minutes. Now the report has just come in, we're all in HQ, and the report's come in that a really big fish has been caught at the Montsec end, which is about as far away from our HQ as you can possibly get, but we want to get out there as quickly as possible and see this fish. It's being weighed at the moment. They think it's going to be around about 25 kilos. You can hear the phone dinging there. Everything goes mad when a big fish is caught everywhere, and it's really, really, really exciting. So the media convoy is out, the judges will be out there looking at what's going on as well. There's another crew going the other way to find out what's happening at the other end of the lake. But this has come from the bay, which is the same area that big fish came from last night, the area that the Czech guys caught from in peg 40. This is 4 pegs further down that bank. It's peg 44. It's their first big fish, but it will put them well and truly in the race for the biggest fish of the tournament so far. We think it's 25k. We'll get that confirmation very, very soon. And this is it, 25.2 kilos for Jakob Bakker, Hendrik Bos and Albert Barson from Holland. Peg 44, and what an absolutely stunning creature it is. Typical and traditional Madine old big fish. You can see the shape of the head, the angle going up to those shoulders. And just absolutely beautiful. Anybody watching this at home will look at these, and if you're ever wondering what continental carp fishing is about, this is it. A big fish from a beautiful wild lake. Absolutely stunning. What's a brilliant start. You've had a few runs as well.
Yeah, we had 6 runs in total now, but we only catch 1.
What's the problem?
Lots of snakes in the water, and I have 3 with snakes. There's a big weed bed on it, and the fish is behind the old river. And the old river is the deep, close deep.
Finally, after 4 loss, we catch 1, and after that one we lost also 2 fish.
Now that fish, if you can catch another 2 decent fish, 2 20-kilo fish, then you could well be in with a chance of winning this. You know, you're going to need 60, 63 kilos, I think, and a 25-kilo fish is a very, very good start.
Yeah. And we know that they are over here because when you listen at night, you hear them jumping, you see them jumping, and they are on the bank. So we are positive for the coming 3 nights. Only we need to figure out how we get the fish out of the weed.
So what's the plan? Are you going to put polyballs or are you going to put bottles on?
Definitely polyballs and maybe bottles, if they're not. But yeah, we need the tactics so the fish come up, maybe a lead drop, and then well, we see later.